one of these guys that I like to tinker and play. I actually grew up a little bit. I've been in this space for about 30 years, mainly in the IT space. And I've always loved the idea of being able to make things. I've actually I have a little YouTube channel that has little things that I've done. One of the things I've created is something called Creating Something from Nothing. And where I kind of build my little world from is actually Autodesk Inventor is where I come from. So I have this IT mix, but I have this passion and desire of learning how things get put together and how they get built. It's the reason I brought this little thing. This right here is what I consider the smallest quad. It was as of last year. I don't know if it's anything greater than that. But it's the smallest quad, and I look at this thing and I talk about what is the collaborative effort that it took to be able to put this thing together. There's little propellers on each of these things. There's, the body and the whole framework and how they prove this. This is actually the CX10A, which is what they call a headless mode. It's kind of cool. It allows people to be able to take control of this thing and make it look like a professional. I'm actually giving away a couple of these things at a class that I'm doing tomorrow, so I'll talk a little bit about that. But anyway, so real quick, Panzura. How many people have ever heard of Panzura? Okay, take a look around. And then the next question, how many people use Panzura? Okay, don't look around.
There's opportunity right there.
Okay, thank you. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Bring it down. That's, okay. Oh boy. This is going to be very, very simple, very sweet. I love that one. Hopefully I get it back. You're too early. Anyways, you see the guy works. It's great. It really is wonderful. It does fly all over the place. And if you get hit by it, you just look at it. It's alive? Okay. Thank you. So, by the way, my counterpart, Winnie, is the one that tested it out. So, Winnie, if you can raise your hand, say thank you. Give him a round of applause, please. So anyway, now that I got totally disrailed, I'm not going to do a lot of PowerPoint pre-so. This is a conversation for you, and this is me and you to have a conversation. And frankly, in the class, this is how we're going to do it. It's going to be a little bit of a PowerPoint just because it helps us give the message, but it's also interaction, and I try to make it fun. So what is Panzura? It's really a single file system. So when I take a look at Panzura itself, you'll see a bunch of customers, blue chip customers that are actually working with it. You'll see Chevron, where they had the capability or the necessity of being able to have seismic data. Think about what Chevron does. They drill for oil, and their goal is to go into the ground and find out where those pipes are, or where that oil is, for them to be able to get the information. And the way they did it before is the same problem that we're dealing with today when we are taking our information of trying to figure out, like for example, when you're going through the process of a survey, you may take a video and shoot it down a pipe in reference to civil, right? You shoot it down the pipe to find out where the pipe is going, so you can point cloud it out, or total station it out, right? Plot it out. As part of your scoping job, things like that. You take that and you put it on a drive, and you drive it all the way back to the office for somebody else to take a look at. Panzura creates a single file system. Think of the idea in the single file system is, if I'm here in Budapest, the guys in New York within seconds will have that same video and be able to work with that video. And think about it, how Chevron did this. They're not only their first customer, but they're a strategic investor. What they did is they now have the capability of drilling here and they say, yep, no, that doesn't look good. Move it over here. Think of that concept of a single file system where I have my civil guys communicating to my Revit guys, the capability of my subs to be able to communicate directly with the architects, to be able to create the CDs and all the things that we need to do to deliver to our clients. This is the stuff that allows us to work together as a single unit. It's like taking a Windows server and chopping it up into different pieces, and everybody's working on the same computer. There's this like special wire that connects them all together. So I can do things like, and you'll love this. How many people have ever heard of something called work sharing monitor? Okay, how many people use work sharing monitor? How many people love work sharing monitor when you're trying to go between New York and Los Angeles? Okay. By the way, the letter is Z. Zed, I love that one. But I joke about that because really I have customers that go between, in my particular example, I go from Virginia to Sydney, Australia with Work Sharing Monitor. And I use element borrowing to do that. Think about that. As a small company of 2 different sites or a multitude of different companies, here's an example of some of the companies that we deal with here. So it's obviously large. It's lots of space, lots of data. We have lots of people that are doing this. This is my last PowerPoint slide. I want a PowerPoint slide. What I want to do is to show you a little video. It kind of talks about what this is. So I need audio on the computer, please. Are we ready?
Remember when your entire enterprise fit into one building?
No, we're not ready.
That was nice. It was easy to work together.
Okay, I need video from the computer, please.
It's a bit much to ask for, Paul.
Stop my timer.
It's not a
You bother me with that timer, Rob. There's a little clock up here. Thank you, thank you. I'll bring it all the way to the beginning for it. There's a little timer up here that makes you very, very nervous because at 1 minute it starts to flash at you and you're like, oh my God. Anyway, so this right here is the video that really describes of what Panzura is.
Remember when your entire enterprise fit into one building? That was nice. It was easy to work together. But you grew, and that was nice. Except now it's really hard to collaborate. Users generate duplicate files. Backed up and archived, they create islands of storage and no way to tell which version is the latest. Not so nice. So hey, put it in the cloud. Centralize and reduce storage, simplify management. Awesome, right? Awesomely slow. Centralized doesn't equal fast. So cache the most used files locally and eliminate bandwidth issues to the cloud. But there's still the L word. Yep, latency. Because file locks are still in the cloud. You need a way to harness the economics and scale of the cloud without sacrificing rapid file access and easy collaboration. You need Panzura. With a Panzura controller at each of your sites, you can locally cache the files you use most and distribute file locks, simplifying storage and solving latency. Here's how it works. Applications are chatty. Before they open, they run sequential file operations. With a lock in the cloud, every single file operation is a there and back trip. No big deal, right? Wrong. Here's the math. Say each file operation takes 15 milliseconds, and opening a file requires 15,000 file operations. That's 12.5 minutes. That's slow. With a Panzura controller, the file lock is next to the user, so the trip is short, fast, like a half millisecond, not 50. So those 15,000 operations only take, wait for it, 8 seconds. 12.5 minutes to 8 seconds. That's nice. Oh, one more thing. With Panzura, you get all this greatness and savings. Since Panzura deduplicates and compresses data on all tiers at all sites, you can reduce total storage by up to 90%. Panzura makes it possible for everyone to work like they're sitting in the same office again. And that's really nice. To find out more, visit panzura.com.
Okay, so when you look at Panzura, you're thinking about Panzura, think of the idea of your office. If everybody was working in your office, they're working with Civil 3D, they're working with AutoCAD, they're working with Revit, whatever they're working with at that particular time. Picture them all in the same office working on that same model. Now think if I take that single Windows server, that P drive that they're connecting to, and what I do is I move them, and I happen to have an expert in Budapest, another one in London, another one in New York, for example. What I can do now is use the expertise of the people that's working in that particular location. I've basically broken up a single Windows server, cut it into pieces, and given you a piece and me a piece. And because you and I are working on the same model, I now can do element borrowing. I can do work sharing monitor. I can share collaboration. I can have the capability of being able to pull in links, be able to pull in my subs, all of that stuff. Very simply, Panzura as a single file system allows you to collaborate across the world. Panzura, we have over 12 petabytes of data in the cloud. That's basically it. According to this, I've got 22 seconds left. The thing I wanted to say again is I thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm going to have a class tomorrow. I'm going to go into a little more detail of it. As you can tell, I'm a kind of an interactive folk. So when you go to my class, it's going to be an opportunity to hear a little bit more of what this is and how Revit, how we actually build things. You look at what HP has put together, and NVIDIA to be able to take their workstations. You can stop that flashing, it's going to bother me greatly because I'm about to do the keynote address. That the NVIDIA and the HP boxes, how you be able to pull all of those things together. It just gives you the capability of being able to take the strengths of what they can do with the strengths of what we can do, and it allows us to be able to become better and greater to what we do. And like I said, I'm a maker in my space. I love this space. I'm very passionate about it, and I know you guys are, obviously, coming out here. So with that, I thank you. Panzera wants to, again, thank you for this, and we want to give you the opportunity, or the keynote address, a gentleman by Lee Watanabe Crockett, and I love his last name. He is going to be talking about the futures of really the innovation of what we can do and how we help society and as a community of how we can make things better. I'm part of DTS, and there's an innovation in what we call the innovation space, which allows us to be able to create be able to create sabbaticals that allow us to give back to the community. How do we take our skills and build a playground for a particular neighborhood? And that's kind of the passion that Lee has. He's really an optimist, and he really believes in a bright future. The capability of being able to see what we can do in the particular environment. I found some things that are interesting, though. He's actually, and I never heard of this before, how many people from Japan or the Asia area? Anybody? Probably not, because it's Europe. But he's learned tea ceremonies. I've seen him on TV and stuff, and I thought that was kind of cool. And he also knows how to play the Japanese bamboo flute. So it's a really, really well-rounded type of area. He's really got a curiosity to be alive. He's shared, in the whole shared human experience. How do we make life better in what we have? He's also the co-author of Understanding the Digital Generation, the Digital Diet, and Living in the Future Edge. With that, I'd like to present Mr. Lee Crockett. Thank you.
Don't forget to take your quadrant.
Oh,
it's off. It's
okay. This is the part where he was.